So as I do most mornings, I opened X to see what's going on, and boy was I surprised. What? We gotta talk about this. I didn't have on my bingo card for this summer that Gina Carano and Disney would come to a settlement. In fact, we're gonna talk about whether this is a good thing or a bad thing or in between, because I've got some mixed feelings about this one. So for many of you, you've probably followed this story. You know the background. I'm not here to talk about all that, but I do want to look at some of the comments, particularly what has Disney said and what has Gina said. And for that, let's fly back over to X. So this is from Gina's X. It says this: I've come to an agreement with Disney Lucasfilm that Disney Lucasfilm, which I believe is the best outcome for all parties involved. I hope this brings some healing to the Force. I think it is best for all parties involved, but it's not necessarily, I think, what most fans were really hoping for. I'll explain in a moment. I want to extend my deepest, most heartfelt gratitude to Elon Musk, a man I've never met, who did this good Samaritan deed for me in funding my lawsuit. Thank you, Mr. Musk and X, for backing my case and asking for nothing in return. To my lawyers at Sher and Jaff, who walked me through this unknown territory, thank you for your wisdom and guidance. I'm humbled and grateful to God for his love and grace in this outcome. I'd like to thank you all for unrelenting support throughout my life and career. You've been the heartbeat that has kept my story alive. I hope to make you proud. I'm excited to flip the page, to move on to the next chapter. My desires remain in the arts, which is where I hope you will join me. Yes, I'm smiling. From my heart to yours, Gina. Well, from that perspective, right, Gina's happy, so that's a good thing. And I don't think that should be understated because of the way that this went down, the way that her name was dragged through the mud, the way she lost her job and everything else going on with that, being kicked off of Mandalorian, not brought back, all of those things. Her character probably was, other than Mando, the most interesting character in the entire show, even though it's Grogu is the one that got all the oohs and the ahs and that kind of cultural acclaim. But it's Gina's character that really was awesome. And there was a show planned to do with her as a result of all of those things. I don't expect that to come back. We'll talk about why I think that's true. But from Gina's perspective, this is good. She can move on. She can go past this. I think many maybe attributed to her desire to bring this lawsuit some implications or ideas that weren't really in Gina's heart, that it wasn't really about revenge. It really wasn't about sticking it back to Disney or making Disney hurt. Instead, she just wanted to rectify what had happened. And this settlement, whatever it is, it's not disclosed. I'm not hiding anything from you. I can't find it anywhere. It's not talked about anywhere, which is probably what's going to be. We're never really going to know everything. And that's the win for Disney, right? And this is why Gina says everyone wins in this scenario. Settlements are what lawyers want. Settlements are what companies want. It's easy. It's quick. It gets you money faster. You move on and you don't have to reveal all your dirty laundry. So you might be wondering, well, what does Disney think about this? Here's their statement. It says this is the only statement they've really said, the only thing that can be found. You can go to the Variety article. There's really nothing in it at all. It's kind of crazy that they even had an article to write, but I'm making a video, so maybe I'm doing the same thing. Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm are pleased to announce that we've reached an agreement with Gina Carano to resolve the issue in her pending lawsuit against the companies. Ms. Carano was always well respected by her directors, co-stars, and staff. Okay. You could say words. They don't necessarily mean anything. Wow. And she worked hard to perfect her craft while treating her colleagues with kindness and respect. With this lawsuit concluded, we look forward to identifying opportunities to work together with Ms. Carano in the near future. Okay, so that's the good. The good is Gina's happy. The bad, Disney's happy. Lucasfilm is happy. And I don't mean this in the sense that I think this was going to be a good thing for Disney to be hurt or injured, but to a degree I do. To a degree, I think the fact that companies can get away with treating employees like this when Mark Hamill and Pedro Pascal and others who have a different political leaning than Gina have said and stated things on X, pretty inflammatory, have said pretty harsh things about others. And yet they're okay. We're just going to forget. We're going to forget it all happened. We're going to forget we fired you. We're going to forget. And again, I see people saying, well, you can be fired for anything. I'm like, yes, but there also are laws to protect the employee from an employer overreaching with a wrongful termination. And that's really what is going on here. It's not just a free speech thing, right? I think that's why Elon Musk got involved is because it was free speech in his mind. But I think the reality is none of this wanted to go to Discovery. And really the win that we thought was going to happen was when Discovery was going to happen. That's when everything gets opened up and things get seen. The light gets shown into the dark places. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And I can't help but think that their comment of we're going to work together in the near future, I wouldn't. If I was Gina, I would run. I would go do something else. Go be something else. Do not work with this company again. They were quick. They were quick to finally make a settlement. In the grand scheme of things, you might think it took a long time, but lawsuits and everything usually drag on for years and years and years. And really, they heard about Discovery, and Lucasfilm was just like, okay, we'll wait our time until we actually have to pay, and then we'll pay and we'll get out of it and we'll say nice things and we'll move on. And I think that the lack of transparency that's going to come to the public is the loss for us. And it's the loss for other actors, actresses, employees who have companies who might do things like this, who know that, hey, we could try to get away with it. Not everyone's going to have Elon Musk come to their rescue and fund their lawyer fees, right? That's what these companies bank on, is they can do something that they know is probably wrong or definitely wrong, but you can't do anything about it because you don't have the lawyers or the expenses and the ability to fund the whole thing. And that's the frustrating part for me as a Star Wars fan. I'm happy for Gina. I'm not super happy that things are not being exposed. The practices that are been talked about, that have been documented, I've talked about on this channel multiple times, are not really going to be seen and brought to the light. That people that are doing things that shouldn't be done are not being brought to the light. Now, I'm not saying that this necessarily would have had a positive or negative impact on the actual product that Disney is putting forward of Star Wars. But at the very minimum, it would have brought about some accountability for a company that I believe has mismanaged and completely fumbled this IP. And part of it has to do with the ideals in the background. And for those of you that have been part of this channel for a while, or even just found me in the last year, you know that I don't necessarily make these videos all the time, but I think it's important to think about and talk about how does this impact Star Wars? Do we think that Gina is now going to work again with Disney? Like, they're hinting at that, but I have a feeling that isn't part of it, unless part of the settlement was she gets to do the project that they canned. That would be interesting. And she would maybe have creative control, or at least have some say. Like, that's something that Disney would maybe be willing to give up instead of going to Discovery. So time will tell if anything actually comes out about what happened behind closed doors. But those are some of my thoughts. Now, if you want to take a look at another video of mine that has come out just recently, you can click right over here, looking at how Clea and Dedra are actually pretty much the same character. It's a genius writing mechanic put in the series of Andor Season 2. Check it out over there. Guys, thanks for being here. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.